Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Recovery Concepts, daily recovery snack on this Tuesday, April 14th. Hope this finds everybody well. Thank you all for joining. Still hanging out here. Getting a little culture today. Going to go to a couple of museums, do a little bit of urban hiking, and go see some things I've never seen before. Looking forward to it. Weather's supposed to be nice, 70 degrees and sunny. Can't ask for much better than that. All right, so let's dive in here. April 14th, a quote by Martha Graham: "Learn by practice." We were practicing addicts. We were working to perfect our craft. We were good at being addicts. Let us practice recovery with the same intensity. We need to practice the steps. We need to work to deepen our relationship with them. We must practice patience and tolerance with ourselves and others. Remember, we're working to be in this for the long haul. We seek humility, not perfection, progress, not perfection. We seek to learn and better ourselves at being ordinary people. We seek to enjoy the journey, knowing it will never be over. And as we practice and learn, we step deeper into life and sobriety. Prayer for the day. Higher power, each day help me show up for practice and enjoy the process of learning. Today's action. At the end of today, I will take some time and ask, what did I learn today that will help me live a good, sober life? What will I practice at tomorrow? Okay, so we were good at being addicts. We were working to perfect our craft. How I can relate to that is, as deeply felt. Pretty much for me, what I found is that what I'm actively currently doing is what I'm getting better at, if that makes any sense. I had no idea how to approach or exist in a life of recovery with a life without drugs and alcohol. I didn't even know anything about recovery early on. I was just trying to get this sobriety thing down. But I can relate very deeply to the fact that we got good at being addicts. I got good at being an addict. I got good at having skill sets and attitudes toward things that help keep me in the world, in the realm of addicts. I was around other addicts. I had addict behavior. Pardon me. I became a part of that lifestyle through engulfing myself in it, and trying to figure it out. And some of it was learned by watching, and a lot of it was learned by hiding and waiting and trialing and error and trying to figure out. But the addict lifestyle was full of oops, there went my thing, my camera here again, my phone. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm not quite set up here on the road like I am at the house, so we have a couple of little incidents like that every now and again. Being an addict was a learned trait over trial and error and persistence. Recovery's not that dissimilar for me, especially early on, trial and error and a lot of faking it, a lot of faking it till you make it type stuff. As cliche as a lot of the sayings are and how they sound, I found a lot of things not to be as true, even cliche or not, as some of the sayings. Fake it till you make it being a big one for me. I practice the things that I've learned in early recovery and got repetitive at it and continued to do it until life changed in a fashion. The best way that I can sum it up, I always talk about what I had to do turned into what I got to do. What I had to do turned into what I get to do. But that took a whole lot of time. There was nothing in early recovery, sobriety, that was normal for me. Everything was abnormal. I had not dealt with a lot of the underlying issues that I believe were players in how my addiction and usage evolved over time. And it took a whole lot of time to back that out. You know, people get cleaned up and they get frustrated. I work in the recovery community, a 106 bed facility, and people get in there and they get mad, and I can relate to that too because I've lived it, about how they can't figure out they you know, it's such a big accomplishment to them to be sober 14, 21, 37 days, whatever the number is. I'm not belittling it in any way, shape, or form. However, it's not logical. I spent 30 years out there running and gunning and tearing things up and getting things in the situation that I found myself in 2012, and it's unreasonable to think in 27 days, 91 days, 103 days, or whatever the case is, that I would have, you know, backed out 10,000 days of abuse and neglect and toxicity, and you know, that was my life. And it is no small feat that anybody that comes from a background, it comes from an area like my addiction was, you know, to have one day sober, that's a miracle. One day sober, you know, that didn't happen that much in my life. I'm going to tell you right here now, it just didn't happen. There wasn't a day. I could probably count them on one hand, on my fingers on one hand, in 20, 25 years, you know, that there wasn't a substance in my body. And I don't know that there were that many. But point is, I had to practice. I had to show up. I had to get humble. Well, I got humbled. That just happened. But then I found this thing called humility. I thought humility was tied to humiliation. I've got this is a West Virginia public education showing up. A guy told me you got to get humble. And I'm like, well, you know, you have to have humility. I'm like, well, that should be no problem at all. You know, I've been humiliated. You know, he said, no, 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 no. He said, you're thinking about that wrong. He explained it to me very simply. He said, Chris, being humble and having humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. He said, just sit and think on that a second. He said, there's no need to kick your own butt. He said, but when you get humility, you're more worried about how you can help others than what's going to happen to you. It's not about beating you up because you were bad or whatever. You know, we that's a whole different chapter. So that is not the case. We were not bad, we were sick. He said, there's no sense in kicking your butt. He said, but if you get behind your faith and you get humble, you will start to understand that things will work out. When you're doing the right things will happen. And that was a big piece of my journey. But anyway, so I'll let you guys go. Thank y'all for joining. Appreciate you being here. We're going to shoot a few more here before I get home. Please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Trying to get this base built up. I am grateful that you joined. Come on back and we'll do it again Wednesday, Lord willing. I'm going to get myself cleaned up and go see some things I haven't seen before, man. Y'all have a blessed day. Thanks again for joining. Bye-bye.